Ladies and gentlemen, you're back! You came back! You like us so much that you're going to do it twice in a week. How amazing. How wonderful. Actually, it's not that good. You might want to switch it off. Just kidding. So, we did our weekly roundup already, and now we have our main topic of the week, where I get to bore Mick with tropes and things that I like and enjoy.
Bloody tropes.
Philosophy, metaphors, etc. And Mick gets to talk about tiny plastic figurines that make his life light up. So, we're going to have a new topic this week, and you'll hear what it is in a second. Listen on if you feel like being pretentious and listening to an old trope. Speaking of, Michael, we are the latest podcast in the 9 realms.
Go on.
Because we restrained ourselves and didn't talk about what I think is fair to say is a very strong contender for our movie of the year.
That's very interesting.
The Avengers Infinity War. What do you think, Michael?
I haven't seen it, Ben. What was it? One of those small independent releases?
Yeah, it's starring Woody Harrelson in one of his classic kind of grumpy old man mentor roles. It's got this really old 80s actor. He was in the Goonies at one point, Josh Brolin.
Never heard of him.
I think he's kind of making like a Mickey Rourke style comeback.
Kind of a late career resurgence.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it's got independent sweetheart Christian Slater in it as well. And Christian Slater plays this kind of app designing billionaire who meets this kind of rough and tumble, kind of down and out Charles Bukowski style Josh Brolin. And Josh Brolin has like this really huge birthmark that makes him look almost entirely purple.
What's Christian Slater got to do with anything?
And Christian Slater is kind of Woody Harrelson's long lost son. Nephew, brother. No, Michael, Infinity War is the movie of the bloody decade. The one we've all been waiting for. The big one.
The big kahuna.
The big kahuna.
The big one. The main event.
The main event. What do you think of it, Michael?
Well, Benjamin, I very much liked it.
I adored it. And that's very rare for me in a bloody Marvel film, because I don't do Marvel films.
Yes, you do, Ben. First of all, you've seen them all.
Yeah, but I don't like them all.
You like the majority of them, Ben. Let's be honest here.
Especially in our Avenger.
Yeah, well, look, we did a whole episode on that. We're not going over that again.
We're not going over that old hat. But yeah, I thought it was great.
Ben, I thought it was very good too.
Yeah.
We should probably say straight away we're doing full spoilers here because
this is full.
This is the reason why we didn't do it last week. Ben.
Yes.
I didn't like it as much as I liked Avengers.
What?
Yeah, I thought Avengers was better.
What?
I thought the first Avengers was better.
Michael.
No, I'm deadly serious.
Okay.
I really liked Infinity War. I've seen Infinity War 3 times, Ben.
Have you seen it 3 times, Michael?
Yes, I'm pretty quick.
You are. Bloody hell.
I thoroughly enjoyed it every time. The best viewing, Ben, is the second viewing.
Is it?
Yeah, the first viewing, I was too on edge. I was too. There was a certain weight of expectation on me as well. There was not on me, on the movie. There was always waiting for what's the next huge twist going to be. And personally speaking, I found that it was slightly lacking in huge twists.
It doesn't have that many. It has one huge twist, but that's about it.
You sound like a clickbait website.
Yeah.
This one huge twist will make you watch it. You see, Ben, I have this thing here, right?
Yeah. Oh, is that an anti-spoiler card?
Yeah. And the hashtag Thanos demands your silence thing. Because of the hashtag Thanos demands your silence campaign, I really thought there were going to be something hugely surprising in this.
Yeah, there wasn't, though.
There was nothing hugely surprising.
No. It's almost a perfect comic adaptation, though, which I found kind of interesting.
Do go on.
In that, I think you'll recall, Michael, when we were making our original predictions for this, we said there's no way they would ever be able to follow up the original Infinity War arc, because that would involve wiping out half the universe.
Yeah, but they did, Ben.
But they fucking did, Michael. They fucking went and obliterated that. For me, I think Infinity War is a perfect example of how Marvel have upped their game.
Go on.
Because for me, Whedonisms, are not a personal favourite. I have grown up in a Whedon-saturated 90s, where everyone has that snappy back and forth. It's almost like the Gilmore Girls that fight vampires or something like that, And
I don't, Ben, because I've never seen the Gilmore Girls.
Well,
I can
don't
figure out what you mean from context.
Don't. And I don't like that snappy back and forth, snarky kind of stuff. And I think that was very much the tone that dominated the original Avengers, which I've since watched again because I wanted to kind of be able to compare it. And I think very much for me, it's jarring. It doesn't fit. It's almost comedy, but it's not quite. And then what I forgot going to see Infinity War is that the Russo brothers started in comedy.
Yes, they were in the TV show Community.
Yeah, and they also did Arrested Development. They're the two men responsible for Arrested Development. And Arrested Development is one of my favourite comedy shows of all time.
Ben, we're going to talk about Easter eggs in a minute.
So
we won't spoil our Easter eggs. But did you notice the Arrested Development Easter egg?
The blue... Oh, no, wait. Am I allowed?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
It's the Blue Man. It's the Blue Man. Made famous by Tobias Funke, who blew himself.
He's in the bloody collector's trophy case.
He blew himself several times. So yeah, he was there. But what really made it amazing for me is obviously cinematography has come a long way since the original Avengers. 10 years now? Are we 10 years in?
No, only 6 since Avengers.
6 since Avengers, but it's come a long way, and I think the tone has come a long way as well. I think, interestingly, looking at that new trifecta of directors, and by the new trifecta of directors, I mean Taika Waititi, James Gunn, and the Russo brothers. Yes. What you have there are 3 very strong comedic minds that have come together and collaborated. 4. Yeah, absolutely. 4 very strong comedic minds that have come together and collaborated in a really strong way. And they did an amazing job of bringing 3 very different tones together.
Okay.
Which I found fascinating. Like, there is no way that the Guardians should have worked with the Avengers, or that, Thor after Ragnarok could come back to such a serious thing. And yet, I think through this collaboration, and maybe because they're comedy writers at heart, all 3 of them, all 4 of them, keep doing that wrong. I think that's what brought the tones together. But for me, the Russo brothers are far stronger comedically than Joss Whedon ever was. And so for me, the dialogue is much heavier. I watched Vanity Fair do a really cool YouTube series called Breakdown Notes on a Scene. I don't know if I
think I've seen it.
Yeah, they do really interesting ones. But their latest one is the Russo brothers breaking down the Thor meets Guardian scene.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched it. It's in my watch later list.
It's absolutely fantastic because it's kind of fun to watch how they block scenes and how much effort they put into different scenes and things like that. Mm-hmm. And what they do is they keep the comedy pan from Arrested Development. So the comedy pan is, instead of cutting, which is a traditional thing, especially with mid-2000s to 2013 comedies in America. It's where you do these really snappy scenes where you cut. The Russo brothers hate cutting in dialogue scenes. So what they do is they pan. And quite often what you do is you move from one character to the other in one swift pan. One finishes their dialogue and you move through it with them. And it has this effortless flow. So it's really interesting. They make that scene very claustrophobic by building all that up. But I think all that blocking and stuff like that is something that was never there in the original Avengers. I remember feeling that the original Avengers was extremely rushed because they were trying to cram all these elements together all of a sudden. This, for some reason, not to mention it was a longer movie, but considerably, but also it works better as a longer movie because they give it time to develop, and these guys put it together. For me, easily one of the better Marvel movies. But then again, the last 5 years of Marvel movies have been 10 times better than the original run in many ways. Although Iron Man 1 is still great.
Iron Man 1 is still great and certainly better than Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange was a bit of a low point, as it turned out.
A bit of a flop.
I mean, it's far from a flop. It's a perfectly fine, serviceable film, but
visually stunning.
Visually stunning, but a little bit weak storytelling wise. And Doctor Strange still isn't a very engaging character.
Has that crass American accent.
Mr. Stark, why would you... That's terrible.
If it's a choice between you and the stone, I'll pick the stone.
It's the Gregory House accent. It's every Englishman doing an American accent.
Which is better than every American doing an Englishman accent.
That's true. Although There's a tendency with British actors doing American to go broad, whereas Americans going British kind of go specific. And when you're going specific, it's always going to be wrong.
It's always
Unless
going
you're
to be
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland does a great bloody job.
Although, Ben, that again, we've talked about this many times on the podcast. That's coming from us being not New Yorkers.
Yeah, it's true.
A New Yorker might find Tom Holland easy to figure out.
Yeah, maybe. If only we were New Yorkers, Michael.
Yeah, it would be very different. We'd be like, hey, we're going to have a slice with this
establishment
podcast.
Yeah, but that wasn't great. But it's okay. You tried. But I think more than that, I think comparing Thanos from the first Avengers to the Thanos that we got, holy Infinity Stones. Hoo-wee. Like, God,
Michael.
Damn. Purely from a visual point of view, Josh Brolin acted the fuck out of that. My God. He is such...
There's plenty of his face left.
Yeah, but like, the CGI they use on his face is nothing short of a fantastic cinematic achievement. I thought...
Do you think it will hold up forever?
What do you mean?
Will it look ridiculous in 20 years?
I mean, it's entirely... No,
Because that's the mark of good special effects.
I don't think so. I looked at I'll include this still in the video. I'm currently in the process of trying to do something with one of the stills from the video. It's remarkably well rendered, and I think the most important thing about Thanos is the only really elongated part of him is the chin.
Yeah, the real nutsack of a chin.
Is the chin. And the rest of him is very much Josh Brolin. Like, they've made no attempt to hide eyes. His nose is slightly altered, obviously. But eyes, brow, I would imagine maybe Josh Brolin had a shaved head. I'm guessing.
Maybe a bald cap.
Maybe a bald cap, something like that. But it's his proportion.
Josh Brolin has luxuriant hair.
He does. It's very,
I can't imagine him
very
shaving.
long lasting. Well, he did it for Cable. Cable is shaved all down the sides. Like, it's not not impossible. But just in terms of how he emotes, and I'm thinking particularly of that scene with Gamora, where he has to sacrifice Gamora. That's a hard scene to watch, and you shouldn't, because he's an absolute prick.
He's a real bad bloke.
He's a real bad bloke, but you feel for him in certain aspects. Like, when they do those close-ups on his face and stuff, there's real emotions happening there. Like, I was astounded by that. Not only that, you kind of agree with him half the time.
I don't know, Ben.
Maybe
you're starting to sound like some sort of mad environmentalist.
Maybe you don't. But, like, I found it really interesting from that point of view, in that he's not mental. He's not a grandstander in any kind of traditional sense.
I think he is mental.
He's
a complete bloody lunatic.
Sorry, he's a complete lunatic. But what I'm saying is, he doesn't act like one.
Well, he does kill half the universe.
Okay, hang on. Sorry, he doesn't. His speech and his sense of self is not reflective of that. What I mean is, I think the Black Order are really important in giving you that sense of Thanos as a god. I don't think Thanos necessarily follows that logic. I kind of came out of that film looking at Thanos far more as a... You know that old argument, one man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist.
Up the rat.
Kind of thing. But I think that's I think that's very much how he sees himself.
Yeah, for sure.
And even down to his costume, it's very combat
purple
ready. Like he I think it's interesting at the beginning of at the beginning of the movie how he takes off the armor.
Doesn't need it anymore.
And he becomes but he becomes this very bare fighter. And I just found it fascinating. I thought it is also fundamentally Thanos the movie. But there's
for sure.
There's nothing witty in pointing that out anymore. I think every single bloody review has pointed that out. He's very much the protagonist of this film.
Sure. I mean, Captain America probably has about 5 or 6 lines, and I don't think is ever named.
Yeah.
I know someone who isn't a fan, didn't know Scarlett Johansson's character, who
she was
what she was supposed to be.
The blonde hair was very irritating for me. The blonde eyebrows more so. I didn't
it was
understand it at all.
It was like Chris Hemsworth in Thor 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, that's how you go. That's how you go incognito. But you're right. It was very much a Thanos movie. He had a lot in common with a Killmonger and a Vulture.
That's what I mean. Like they're getting, in terms of writing, I think it's very much down to the directors, or maybe not necessarily the directors, but the writers certainly, and the costume designers. We're getting a lot more empathetic with our villains, and I think it's I think that's going to be a hard one to top, man. That's going to be a hard.
If you wanted to make a clickbaity title, you could almost ask, "Has Marvel solved its villain problem?"
Well, I think we just found the name of our villain or our video. Our video. We should be clickbait villains.
The only way they're not going to be able to one up Thanos, so they're going to have to go a totally different direction. And the only way I can see them, the only conceivable villain they have tucked in their belt who might be better is Doom.
Yep.
When they get Doctor Doom back, they could do some magical things with Doom.
Do you think we'll have an Osborn? Do you think we'll fuck with an Osborn?
Oh, I wouldn't. I don't like their... I can hear you shaking your hand on your mic.
Sorry.
So you might want to knock that off there.
Give that over.
I don't like their weird sausagey hair.
Yeah, oh, okay. Yeah, it is silly. Yeah, fair enough. What do you think in terms of bloody Easter eggs and surprises? Like, anything that really jumped out at you?
Well, I saw it in 3D, so a lot of things jumped out at me.
Did you see it? Do they have it in 3D?
They have it in 4D here, Ben, in Cineworld. And I haven't seen it in 4D, unfortunately, but a friend of mine has. And he was watching the scene where the snow is falling. Is there a scene with snow falling?
It's like...
And
yeah,
he thought, wow, this 3D is amazing, the way this snow is falling. And then he lifted the glasses up and he realised that snow was actually falling on him.
Ah, okay. Are you kidding? Is this
no,
an actual...
I'm serious.
That's bananas.
Yeah, 4DX or something it's called. Two friends have seen it. One said it was great and it added to the movie. The other one saw it in 4DX for the first time he saw it was in that format. Mm-hmm. And he hated it because it was very distracting.
Yeah.
Like in emotional moments, and then next thing you know, you're sprayed with water and you're going, oh, fuck, that was funny the first time, but the 17th time it's like, get away from me!
Yeah, less entertaining.
So for me, Benjamin, the only jump out, oh my god moment was the return of the Red Skull.
Red Skull, motherfucker! Yeah, that was unbelievable. Dude, it's not Hugo Weaving.
No, it's Nate Marquand.
I am a huge fan of his... I love his impressions. You can find his micro impressions on thing. He's amazing, and he does such a wonderful... Like, I couldn't tell the difference. I literally thought it was Hugo Weaving.
Yeah, so did I. Let's be honest. There was a moment as well where I was going, whose voice is that? I know that voice. Who? Oh my god, it's Red Skull! And then I went, yes!
Yeah.
And people in the cinema were slightly put out.
Looked at you like you were mental. Looked at you like you were mental. But it was amazing. Like, just...
It was very good throwback.
I enjoyed it a lot. I'd like to see him come back.
So would I. Nate Marquand could definitely do it.
He did a great job the first time. Like, I don't see why he couldn't do it again. And he clearly enjoyed it a lot more. By the looks of it. Big break for him. Like, from TV impressionist to bloody Marvel Red Skull. Like, there's a move that you could put back in.
Although, I mean, it's a bit of a sad career move, really, if your main thing is doing an impression of another person. It reminds me of Michael Shanks from Stargate, who was hired mostly because he did a very good impression of James Spader in Stargate.
Ah, that's unfortunate.
He played the same character. Now, as it turned out, he played Daniel Jackson in Stargate for a lot more than David. What's his name?
James Spader.
David Spade.
Than
James Spader, and he kind of made the character his own in the end. But anyway, I digress, Ben. I digress.
No, that's all right. Yeah, absolutely loved it. I was a huge fan of the character development between different things. I think.
Hold on, we're still talking about Easter eggs, Ben.
Oh, yep. Sorry, we're back to Easter eggs.
Get back on track here. What other little surprises and twists were there?
It turns out that the stress call from the start.
Yes, very good.
Bloody Kenneth Branagh having a little Branagh having a little chitty chat, which shows that not a lot of bad blood there. Like, he still gave it a sporting farewell. That was quite nice.
I think that's great, wasn't it? That's brilliant that he started the whole Thor thing and he's there right at the end of Asgard and
he's given it a little, like, that's good. I dug that. I was on board.
Yes. So as far as other twists and turns and Easter eggs and everything, some things were disappointing because of the weight of expectation.
Go on.
Well, no Hawkeye.
Yeah.
And I know not having Hawkeye isn't disappointing, but the lack of Hawkeye, it could have been a kind of snakes on a plane situation.
Snakes on a plane.
Where the internet built up, whereas Hawkeye so much that we all expected Hawkeye to show up and do something, and then he didn't, and that was a bit
Shoot an
sad.
arrow into the Infinity Gauntlet and stop it from clicking the fingers or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like
Or
that.
Knock a gem out.
Something
or
like
even
that. Yeah.
the bit where Captain America seemed to be holding Thanos off
He was doing well there for a second.
for a second.
Yeah.
And that's the bit they showed in the trailer. So Thanos walks through them basically. It's very...
I thought it was excellent. I really liked that he walked through them. I thought it was great. I liked that they didn't pull their punches with him though. Like there was nothing. Look, we're running out of time. So in terms of predictions for the next one in Infinity War 2 or Avengers 4, whatever you want to. Avengers 4, Infinity War 2. Let's call it that. There's going to be some interesting things. Bloody Hulk. Can't wait to see what happens with Hulk. I think we're going to get World Breaker Hulk.
Yeah, he's going to be back more powerful than ever.
He's going to be World Breaker. He's going to be World Breaker Hulk.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's Hulk who physically beats Thanos in the end.
Yeah, I would assume that it's very much he's going to heal from this, and the reason he's not coming out is he's in the process of evolving or growing or something like that.
I don't think that at all then.
Okay.
I think he's just scared because he lost.
That's fair. It's a better angle anyway for the character, really, isn't it?
Yeah, he's scared because he lost. He was the champion on Sakaar. Although, to be honest, was I talking about this with you or someone else? Hulk in the movies is the Lieutenant Commander Worf of the movies.
Yeah, he's just there to pummel.
If you want to show someone as a badass, just have them beat the Hulk.
Yeah.
He's never really beaten anyone of note.
Not yet. Thor beat him.
Thor beat him. Hulkbuster suit beat him. Thanos beat him. He has beaten up the Abomination, some random Chitauris, and the U.S. Army. Everyone can beat the U.S. Army, Ben. I could beat the U.S. Army.
Oh,
in the comic book world.
That's gonna cost us.
Did you hear a strange click there, like the CIA started this?
Hi. Welcome to Michael and Benjamin's podcast. What do you
Thanks for
think?
doubling our listenership.
World Breaker Hulk next movie. CIA.
I don't think they're going to call him World Breaker Hulk. I just think we're just going to.
It's going to be a nod to the amalgamation. But he'll be World Breaker Hulk in some form. Anyway, apart from that, looking forward to Captain Marvel. Kevin Feige has said that she's the most powerful character in the Marvel universe. Anyway.
Which is going to be pretty tough considering how powerful Thor now is.
Yeah, he's fucking terrifying, isn't he?
Yeah.
Bloody
just like
Stormbreaker
the full
Thor.
power of the Infinity Gauntlet and just axed him in the chest.
Yep, just went straight through it, no problem.
He's like, I gotta axe you a question. And then he hit him with an axe. Very good.
That's a terrible joke.
But what about repercussions, Ben? How are the other films going to deal with this?
Well, I mean, look, your Netflix has just taken statistically, 2 of the Defenders have to feck off.
No, that's true. Hopefully Iron Fist.
Iron
Fingers
Fist.
crossed.
Oh, can you imagine if this is what it's been? It's been a way to just reboot the Iron Fist version.
The whole thing is an effort to wipe out Iron Fist.
Iron Fist and the second half of Luke Cage.
By sheer coincidence, all of the Inhumans.
Yeah, they all just got tanked.
They all just turned into dust.
Oh, that'd be deadly, wouldn't it?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is referencing it.
They're
dealing with it.
They have to. It's half the universe. It's not half the planet. It's not half the planet. It's half the universe.
It hasn't reached that point yet. This is going to be the amazing thing. Like I think this is going to be the ruining point of Marvel TV and Marvel movies.
Is it not about time though? I think the TV drags its heels quite a bit. I don't.
It has to. It's TV.
Netflix does it a little bit better, but end of Daredevil season 2, second half of Luke Cage. Jessica Jones remains consistent, but Iron Fist was just a bloody mess.
Yeah. So if Iron Fist and Elektra disappear, and the rest can stay.
Okay, so we'll just get rid of those 2. Just the Asian appropriation culture.
Yeah,
we're gonna get rid of that. The weird. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. That's fine by me. I can live with that.
And then there's all the upcoming stuff like Cloak and Dagger and
hopefully they both got wiped out. Hopefully both of them just.
What do you think then of the possibility that at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp their families disappear and that's what leads them into
subatomic.
into Infinity War 47.
Yeah, I think basically, I think the big prediction right now is Ant-Man goes subatomic, finds Captain Marvel or whatever. I think, interestingly enough, I think the beeper is more interesting at the end. The little end, it's very dull end credit scene, but it's quite interesting.
Yeah,
I think that Nick Fury has imprisoned Captain Marvel.
Oh,
I think he's got her locked up somewhere.
Is this one of your famous Ben's predictions?
Well, yeah, I suppose. But I reckon that might be a more interesting angle. He saw her as too much of a threat. Because she is human. So he would have, and she's in the military, so she probably has a history with Nick Fury.
Well, he's in the movie.
Oh, okay, well then that ends that one. How many bloody films has Samuel L. Jackson been in now? All of them.
Quite a few.
Yeah,
he's young Nick Fury. You haven't seen the young Nick Fury? They de-aged him on set.
Oh no!
But he's Sam Jackson, so
hang
he's
on.
de-aged pretty well. They've given him a little hair and no eye patch.
I'm gonna have to check this out now.
Okay, I'll keep spinning.
Go
my
on,
wheels. Ben. I'll talk about the box office while you check that out. Box office biggest film of all time, not adjusted for inflation. Fastest crossing of $1 billion of all time.
Wow.
Going to, the problem it's going to have, it's probably not going to be one of the top 3 most successful movies of all time. It's not going to beat The Force Awakens, my personal prediction, because The Force Awakens came out over Christmas, and when movies come out over Christmas, they have lots of time to keep playing.
Okay.
Whereas this is going to bump into the opening of Deadpool next week.
Yeah.
And the opening of Han Solo, A Star Wars Story in 2 weeks, which are going to be the same audience.
Wonderful news. Both of them are out in the Odeon, so I can see them.
Oh, sweet.
On time.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Have you seen Nick Fury there?
Yeah. He looks... Sam Jackson, man. The man doesn't age.
Ageless.
He's ageless. He's bloody... Slap a bit of extra hair on him. He looks so young.
I know, it's brilliant, isn't it?
Like, he looks proper, 90s Sam Jackson. Like, that's crazy.
The thing about actors who've been around a while, and I think it was the same was also true of Kurt Russell, it's very easy to de-age them on screen because you have a lot of reference for what they looked like then.
Yeah, so you just grab an old thing and do them up like that. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. Anyway, Ben, wrap us up there.
Go on. Anyway, let us know. Did you enjoy Infinity War? Do you think it was too much? Do you think Thanos was a great character? Do you think I'm crazy in thinking that the CGI was so good? Let us know how you feel about adapting things to different mediums. I'd like to know. Do you think there's any successful examples? Because we were an original Teen Titans fan. These are all the questions we want to hear about, ladies and gentlemen. So go on down below there. Give us an L smash on the like button.
Smash that like.
Smash that like. And then... hopefully we get to see more young Nick Fury. Let's have a young Nick Fury movie. Let's get it going. It's a shame. Michael B. Jordan would have been a great young Nick Fury.
Yeah, actually, I think he probably could have done it. He might be too big.
Yeah.
Sam Jackson has never been hench.
Yeah, fair enough. But anyway, let us know down below, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Thanks for listening. Bye.